Hello, League of Legends fans. I am Bailey Ponnock-Dietrich, joined by Papa John, the birthday boy Desaninator himself, and we are going to be kicking off the day with our second game of the season, kicking off here with Argon 53 versus Fellowship of the Nerds.
I mean, technically, it's the third game of the season, second series, but I got you.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks for the stellar intro.
Backup.
Yeah, I got you. So, first ban going out, Bard. No surprise there. Chosgood, actually a beast of a Bard player. So, Gangplank going out immediately, followed by the Anivia. Jay Frazier not going to be able to throw out that mastery this game on the Bird.
No, and I mean, like last season, he did show a lot of style points on that champion, throwing out the great mastery flares, throwing out the kills. It was huge. So we're also going to see the Callista taken away there from Caboose in the bot lane, showing to be definitely a weapon for him down there.
Definitely one of his favorite champions there, but we do see the Malphite also being picked. Oh, you called me out. But, I mean, the Malphite, Harabo, I haven't seen him play that much, but he is very good on the kind of tanky top laners. Very good initiation. Very strong pick. The Katarina ban coming out. That's kind of interesting.
I mean, Katarina has seen some buffs in recent patches. I mean, no longer is the damage from the bouncing blade reduced upon targets hit after that. So it is, not as bad in lane as it used to be. Its early game picked up a little bit there. But still, not the greatest pick in the meta right now. But we are going to see an early Nautilus pick up there for Argon 53. A very strong pick. More or less seen in the top lane now. But, I mean, it still can be flexed in that bot side. Still a very strong support. But I definitely would see that going more or less to the top side.
Yeah, it's a very strong pick right now. It's very good against pretty much anything in the top lane. He can split push like nobody else. You get that ZZ Rot portal, help you take down those turrets quick, and just your AP ratios are unreal. And it really stops kind of the assassin.
Yeah, and I mean, there are a lot of options for him. Like you said, you can go split push, or you can just be a huge frontline in a team fight pick comp, just because he has so much engage with his ult as well as his Q, and then you can just build him just so much tankiness, and then just the shield, it just multiplies that so much. So it's a great pick, and we are going to see the Lulu and the Gragas picked up there. Two huge power picks there for Fellowship of the Nerds.
Can't say I'm too surprised. We've seen Jay Frazier play a lot of Lulu, so that's probably going into the mid lane, as Bosgood also grabbing that Gragas. We saw him play it a lot last season. It did get quite a few, well, not quite a few, but it did get buffed here recently in these other patches. And it's made him definitely one of the top tier jungler picks. So very helpful for Fellowship of the Nerds. But we see the Alistar and the Lucian pick up. Lucian, once again, just very strong AD carry, and Alistar, definitely one of Weeb's favorites.
Yeah, so it looks like they are really going towards that initiation style there for Argon 53, going with the Nautilus and then pairing that with the Alistar. They want some frontline and they want the engage, and having lots of tools already working with that just in the first 3 picks they've got going on here. But, that Gragas pick up there, I mean, he does more damage than he used to now that you're going with the Runic Echo instead of the Cinder Hulk. So it's definitely a stronger, damage potential for him. But, I mean, that does take down his tankiness and frontline threat a little bit there. But it still is Gragas. He is still going to be tanky without, doing too much towards that. And we are seeing some of these strong other picks being hovered here for the side of Fellowship of the Nerds. Two that I would definitely expect them to lock in, as they are probably the favorites for that bot lane.
Oh, and he's actually swapping over to Ezreal. That's not a bad pick. I was going to say, actually, Kog'Maw and Braum, probably one of the strongest bot lanes right now.
Yeah.
Once you pop that W, you can actually pop the Braum passive in less than a second once you start building some attack speed. So it's just basically an insta-stun if you land that Q, or even just get an auto off as Braum. But they will switch over. The birthday boy, Baby Trog, his birthday as well today. Picking up that Ezreal, definitely one of his more preferred champions. So with Ezreal being in the meta, he's probably pretty stoked. We won't see him on that Jinx as much anymore.
No, yeah, and I mean, it's a great bot lane into Lucian because it offers a lot of mobility that can kind of match him. So you're not going to get caught out as much, especially into something like an Alistar too. You can at least try and arcane a shift away from that headbutt pulve combo. So get him a little bit more safety in that bot lane, a little less pressure down there at least. But we are seeing some... I wouldn't expect that Rengar to be locked in there, but as far as the rest of the comp goes, I feel like they do need more damage to pair that with.
I actually wouldn't doubt the Rengar pick. Oh, they will have. They kind of hovered. I know that is Toast's one of favored picks, but okay, you got me. You're right. I was just gonna say though they would lack AP damage, and he swaps over to the Elise. So they do, however, stick with the Yasuo, which is pretty good. I mean, you've got the Nautilus knockup. I think his anchor also is a displacement, pulls him off. So 2 ways for Nautilus to get it, 2 ways for Alistar to initiate it, plus Yasuo himself. We haven't really seen Dark Creation X. He's kind of the newcomer to
The
this
dark
roster.
horse.
The dark horse. So we'll see if his Yasuo is up to par. I haven't really seen him play much, but I like the Vlad hover.
Yeah, Yasuo, I mean, he's kind of been up and down lately with the rework to the Bloodlords, or the Warlord's Bloodlust. I've seen a lot of variations as far as what keystone you can run on that Yasuo. Seen people go with the Fervor of Battle, seen people go with the Grasp of the Undying, even seen some Thunder Lords on there too. So it's got a lot of flexibility in that mid lane depending on what kind of lane you want to play. If you want to just play a sustain, farm fest, you can go with that Grasp. If you want to really do some damage, you can go with that Fervor. But we are seeing the Vlad locked in against that Nautilus, wanting to maybe go and counter that split push game with the Vladimir in the sustain game.
I actually really like it. Vladimir's a really good pick into the Nautilus. You do a ton of percent health. You Q, start building up. And he actually spikes quite quickly. You get that Hex Tech to make sure you can sustain yourself. Then you go with something. Probably, I don't know if he'll go into his Zanyas right away. Not as much AD damage coming through. So if he wants to grab an Abyssal Scepter, that would help him against the defense of the rest of the team. But he should be able to match that split push pressure coming up from the Nautilus.
Yeah, I found that this Vladimir pick is pretty much a huge counter pick to lots of these top laners that are being picked in the meta right now, like the Rammus, like the Nautilus there. So these huge tanky top laners that depend on lots of armor and lots of health, Vladimir completely turns that around for the lane, as well as just having the pool to be able to really kind of cancel any kind of, huge initiation that they want to throw at him. He's got a lot of tools to work with there. So we're going to have to see how that one plays out going into this game. So we do have the comps rounded out here for Argon 53 and Fellowship of the Nerds. So I got to toss the question to you, Designinator.
Always.
What'd you get for your birthday?
Nothing.
No? Oh.
This beautiful tie. I bought this for myself. I was on there. Nothing, dude. I don't need a birthday present. And my birthday present was heading down to Denver for 10 days.
That's
so
beautiful. But anyways, the real question, which of these two teams do you think is coming out ahead so far at the pick and ban phase?
It's a hard call for me. I think Nautilus should do quite well early on against the Vladimir. It's going to go, I feel that lane's going to go well. But honestly, I haven't seen Fellowship of the Nerds play at all this season yet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I want them to come out with that prowess that they usually can. Mm-hmm. But as far as team comps go, I don't like the Lulu I don't like the Lulu pairing with the Vladimir or the Ezreal because you're not really getting the effectiveness out of the picks. Mm-hmm. But they have a ton of kite potential.
Yeah.
With the Gragas disengaged, the Lulu disengaged, Ezreal. I don't know if it's enough disengage though to come through with the Yasuo. So team comp wise, I gotta swing it towards Argon 53.
I got to say the same thing. Just the amount of pick potential and the amount of engage that they have, I don't think that they can quite kite out absolutely everything that they need to there. The Lulu is running the exhaust, though, same with Chosgood in the bot lane. So they are going to have a lot of that to at least kind of counteract this Yasuo and the Lucian. So taking down two of their major damage threats in the team fights could potentially work out towards that. But we're going to have to see how that really plays out once they actually get into these 5v5 skirmishes, or whether these top laners even decide to leave that lane, or if they're just going to split push forever. I mean, that's going to be the biggest part, whether they actually decide to join the fight or not.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to be paying a lot of attention to the bot lane, because this is kind of the matchup I feel like I'm always faced with. And I always feel like Lucian is so much stronger than Ezreal in that early game. And if you can't punish that advantage, Ezreal will outscale you.
Yeah.
It's just kind of one of those things. So I'm definitely looking for Caboose and Weeblet, especially to make that team comp work, because Yasuo is strong, but I'm not sure how he's going to fare against Lulu. Lulu should be pretty good at shutting him down in that early laning phase. So if they aren't able to convert a lot of that early pressure into kills, then maybe they can pull it out. Maybe those are the Nerds. To be real though, I doubted their Lulu Garen comp that one time last season, and they actually made me eat my own foot.
Yeah.
Like, I just had to take my dirty, crusty sock after, 6 days of just sitting in the wild, and I had to eat it because it was so gross, and I deserved it.
I really hope you didn't. But another thing to maybe count for here is that Fellowship of the Nerds is actually one of the untouched rosters coming back into the season here. Most of the other teams, like Vicious and Delicious, they've seen some mix-ups here and there, so they definitely have synergy on their side, I would say, Fellowship. Just a couple of friends playing some League of Legends together. Where Argon, they just had a roster swap. Dark Creation.
Dark Creation.
Is
that Deschamps?
Deschamps. But he's just coming into the team, fresh from the league. So we're gonna have to see how
out of the minors. They pulled him out of the minors into the big boy leagues.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to see how he actually shapes up with the rest of the team too. But guys, we are gonna be hopping onto the Rift here, loading in with the teams. And on the blue side, we are going to have Argon 53 with A53 Nubinator playing that Astro Nautilus in the top lane. Toast playing Death Blossom Elise. Dark Creation playing Yasuo in the mid lane. Caboose playing Lucian in the bot lane. And Weeblet on Alistar support.
And on the red side, we do have Fellowship of the Nerds. Harablo coming in that top lane, bringing out that Vladimir. We've got Bosgood on, of course, Gragas in the jungle. Jay Frazier rocking that Lulu in the mid lane. Baby Trog, the birthday boy, playing Ezreal at AD carry. And round that out, we've got Chazgood at support with the Braum. And right out of the gates, all of them flashing those masteries. That's what I love to see.
As is tradition, we've seen a little bit of skin synergy here, actually, as they are going with those new kind of medieval style Gragas and Braum skins there. The Cask Bearer Braum and the Lionheart, or no, Cask Bearer Gragas and the Lionheart Braum skin. Two actually amazing skins. I'm a big fan of. But as is tradition, they got to flash those masteries. They cannot go a game without at least minimum 4 masteries.
And I feel like teams have actually kind of copied that. This season we've seen a lot of mastery flashes, but last season it was just, I think if they started that, like I feel like that's going to be their legacy. Whether they win SKL or not, the mastery flares being popped left, right, and center, that's going to Fellowship.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that they got down in their history books here. But you know, Designator, I do not want to see you playing favorites to Baby Trog just because you guys share a birthday here. I want to see some unbiased calls coming out of you.
If I was biased, I would have said Fellowship of the Nerds going to win this series, hands down, no problem.
Now you're just covering your tracks, I think.
Whoa, all right. But, I mean, we do see the Krug start. I don't know, okay, Lucian is going to come down. I was going to say, are they just going to go... Weeblet not going for the signature Gromp steal. I guess he's not playing Blitz.
Some LCS double jungling going on here, but top lane, we already see Harblow. He's pushing in a little bit in that lane already. He might try and freeze the wave quite far back, close to that turret actually, if he's going to be able to get the aggro and just do a little bit of damage. And he did disrupt the wave slightly there to try and you know, push the aggro onto one singular minion to get that wave pushing a bit farther back there.
Well, and that's actually going to be so important for Vladimir. Vladimir has such a weak early laning phase. Until you actually get to sustain from items or pots, it's very hard for him to use his abilities. All of them require you using health, and if you just start spamming them, you're going to get bullied. So if you start pushing it in, they freeze it on you, you're forced to use your spells to farm safely, not wanting to be ganked. It's very hard for you. So we're gonna look to see if he can keep up. Once he hits about level 9 or gets that Hextech Gunblade or Hextech Revolver, that's when he'll really start using offense.
Yeah, that's the point where you don't really want to deal with them anymore, but we are seeing a good engage.
The level 2 power spike comes through as they try and initiate, get a little bit of damage onto Baby Trog, trying to return it down onto Weeblet there, but not quite getting it down. And that's where I said the pressure coming out from that Lucian does have that, and it looks like Weeblet throwing out that mastery himself. He's saying, yo, I see this. I guess he's used to it from last season too.
Yeah, Weeblet, one of the returning players from last season on a revamped team. Gonna see if he's gonna be able to turn this around here for themselves here. But Nubinator pushing it into tower here early on. Harlow just soaking up that experience though. He's only down 3 CS, so not hurting too much there. But he did start the boots and pots.
Dude, I'm so glad I'm sitting there like, don't say it, it's in your head. I'm glad we have both had that
caster synergy. And nice trade there from Dark Creation actually onto Jay Frazier in the mid lane there. The Lulu normally being the lane bully there, but playing this Yasuo pretty well so far. Actually quite a bit ahead in CS early on here, 16-8 onto Lulu, who's normally the one who's not having real trouble in the early parts of the game there, just with her range as well as her auto attacks being, you know, pretty strong right off the hop. But pushing that into tower, gonna lose a couple CS there. He looks like he wants to go for another trade there, landing the tornado yet again. Great trades again, and the shield is such a great tool if you can stack that flow for Yasuo, so you know you can go in, take a little bit of free damage, and it's not actually going to be too detrimental to the lane there. But Weeblet a little bit farther forward there, trying to get a little bit of vision, but we are seeing Toast making his way to the bot side there, sitting in the tri-brush, maybe trying to make something happen for his team there, but they are pinging out. Chazgood going towards the river there.
Well, Baby Shark stepping up a little bit, but he will use that arcane shift, getting himself out. But we do see Bosgood lands a body slam as that flash has been used. Are they going to be able to secure the kill? They're going to back off as he makes it towards the turret, so good pressure up there, but that's what they need. Definitely get Horrible the advantage in that lane. Now that Nubinator doesn't have that flash, doesn't have that kind of kill pressure in that lane, but we do see Day Creation X going here on Jay Frazier. I'm actually, very surprised at the pressure he's got on this lane. Doesn't quite have the advantage as he should, but he's making it work in this mid lane so far.
Yeah, the wave not exactly being on his side there for that trade. I mean, even though he did trade very well in the earlier parts of it, he wasn't able to use the minions to go back.
Going back in onto Baby Chalk here. Caboose going to go in as well, trying to return some of the damage, but the Unbreakable going to pop up, blocking a lot of the autos there, but he's going to be forced to use the pot. Farming quite well, but Toast is going to get caught out as he's trying to counter jungle. Is Boz going to be able to secure the kill here? He does land the cocoon, but Jay Frazier, yeah, coming as well. He's going to come around the backside, does use the picks. Isn't going to be enough though. The wind wall goes out to block the rest of the projectiles. He will make it out safe, but that is another flash he used there. So a lot of flashes being used on the side of Argon 53. So we'll have to see. Is Fellowship of the Nerds really going to play around that and push that to their advantage?
Yeah, and I gotta say, great communication from Toast and this new mid laner coming in here early on. Coming in, throwing out the wind wall, saving his life there. Only a flash blown for that very aggressive invade there from Toast. Not being punished too much there. But on the top side, Nubinator got punished extremely hard for that gank. But he is still quite a bit ahead in CS, so he's not going to lose too much. But was forced to flash and was forced to burn that teleport very early on, where we still are seeing Harblow in the top lane, sitting on that teleport, sitting still on his, he's just got the amp tome there, so he was able to walk back to lane, not having to lose too much. So he's definitely getting a little bit ahead here.
And Weebly going in once again, setting up two people there to getting the headbutt pulverize combo on two. Are they going to look to turn it around though? No, just back off as Baby Chalk still kind of low. Does have that heal available if something is urgent, needs to keep himself up, but has used that pot already, doesn't have as much sustain, especially with that. Oh, we do see the out circle when the immediate exhaust onto Caboose. They're going to turn around, setting up Weebly. He doesn't have the ulti available as they're at level 4, but not going to be able to take anything out of it. They're really playing on their back foot here, and this is what I'm saying. Very good pressure by Argon 53. That's really what they need with that Lucian pick as well as the Alistar.
Yeah, because not only do we see like a health advantage in the bot side for Argon 53, also a pretty just like huge mana advantage there. Baby Chalk being forced to farm with his Q so often here just to avoid the harass from Caboose. It's really, you know, burning any kind of potential they could have for a turnaround there, just because he can't follow up with Chosgood if he gets a good, you know, Q or anything onto his lane opponents there. So being so back on their heels here, it's really hurting them. They can't even force an engage if they want
but you
to.
see Harablo goes in as Bosgood is there as well. He uses the ulti, I think, to be able to put down enough damage. That flash is not available. The ulti does go off, and it should be pretty easy as that. Oh, he doesn't have explosive cast. He's not level 6, but should be able to get the kill with the next Q. And that's going to be first blood going out for Fellowship of the Nerds in that top lane. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Jay Frazier coming around for a gank. Are they going to be able to convert it into anything? The exhaust goes out onto Caboose as Jay Frazier goes in. The last auto comes through, and that should be Baby Chalk. You know, the heal is still available if Caboose needs it, but he's not going to use it as Jay Frazier flashes to secure the kill. Pops the level 4 mastery. What is that? Level 4, but we do see Toast going to try and catch out Bosgood here. Not really what he wants to do, as that top laner is not there to help him, but Jay is going to go up there, or Dark Creation, sorry. Nothing's going to happen. They're just going to equally walk away, but great little tussles there for Fellowship of the Nerds.
Yeah, great moves, honestly. That is exactly what they needed. They needed to alleviate some of the pressure on Baby Chalk in that bot lane, as well as try and get Harblow rolling in this top lane, getting himself sustaining here by himself. And now he's got a CS lead. He's got the Gunblade. He's got a kill for himself there, and he's still got the teleport advantage. So he's definitely, you know, gonna be able to take care of himself here. Bosgood, he can focus on other parts of the map now, but that was great moves. Sending Bosgood to the top side probably granted Caboose and Weeblit a little bit of security, or so they thought in the bot lane at least, not expecting Jay Frazier to rotate down, and then just being completely caught off guard there and way too overextended in that bot lane, thinking that they had so much. And Toast completely nowhere to be seen, honestly, so far in the map, just working so hard on farming right now, even though Bosgood still, you know, ahead of him in that department too.
Yeah, he's put more pressure on the map. We haven't really, it's like you said, we're not seeing much of Toast, and it's kind of weird when you have that Elise. Once you hit level 3, you've got 6 different abilities. That's what makes Elise so strong in that early game. She does a ton of damage, especially once you start getting those items, but just her base percent health damage from both of her Qs, I'm really surprised we haven't seen him maybe go towards mid lane or that top lane, but the wave management from Fellowship of the Nerds has been very good. They've been letting the waves push towards them, farming safely underneath that turret, maybe negating a bit of the pressure from that Elise. But if you can't get the ganks, farm it out. But it looks like the Gragas has been doing the better of it, like you were saying earlier. So clear out some more of that vision, but it looks like he might be caught out here trying to clear a pink near the drag pit. He's just going to body slam out of there, keeping himself safe, and no one really going for the first drag yet.
No, I mean, there's a lot of potential from either team here. Now that Nubinator's teleport is almost back up and available, Harblow's still got the advantage there, so they have a small window still, but it is very, very risky with the bot lane being as strong as it is. That BF, the Ezreal not quite scaling up there. I mean, he does have the tier and the pickaxe, but Lucian's going to have the damage advantage there still, so they have to be very, very careful of that. Baby Trog, though, exactly like you said, they're letting the waves push in. They do not mind being pushed under turret. Ezreal does not have a huge problem farming there. Nice.
Oh, they do go in. That's on the ulti as the stun comes through. They're forced to use the wild growth. Is going to be able to get away. He doesn't have the flash available. The repel comes up, but he's not going to go in there, backing off. So great defensive play there by Jay Frazier. Does get locked up, but still able to get away without his defensive summoners. But Bosco getting caught out in the jungle. Numinator's there. Jay Frazier going to try and make his way back to back him up, but there are more members of A53 there. That's Rablo finally responding. They might come chase him out of the jungle, but gets it to the wave. It's Baby Chog going to get initiated on. Shawsgood gets headbutted back. They're going to turn around onto Weeblet. He does have that unbreakable will available if he needs to break this CC. Just going to be a bit of trading back and forth here. So a lot of action on the map, but really nothing happening out of it. They might be able to turn this into a dragon, though.
Absolutely. Nubinator actually walking down from the top side there, catching out Bosgood. Because when you think about it, the Yasuo ultimate is a much smaller sacrifice than the wild growth on the Lulu. That is so much more detrimental to their team comp working out and the team fights going in their favor. So just blowing that ability for the Lulu grants them so much more pressure on these objectives. So picking up the dragon pretty easily there. It looks like they might actually go for a dive in the bot lane here as everyone is rotating down. Rift Herald be damned. They are going to go in on this.
The TP is going to come in from Harablo, but is it going to be enough as Baby Shark goes in? They use the Glacial Fissure trying to keep their teammate alive, but he's going to go down as Numinator should die to that Vlad ulti. They're going to keep trying to turn it as there's a lot of tanking of the turret going on. He uses the repel to drop the aggro, but Harablo picks up a double kill. Meanwhile, Jay Frazier comes in and he picks up the kill there onto Caboose. But that should be enough, and actually that turned out very well for Fellowship of the Nerds. A 3 for 3 after being dove 5 on 2. The TP coming through, and Harablo once again picking up those 2 kills, so that's going to be huge as he finishes that Woda.
Yeah, not quite juggling the aggro as good as they should have. The Elise taking way more damage. Weeblet not doing enough, but they're going to go onto the dive here onto Jay Frazier, using the wild growth again.
Weeblet taking a bit of damage from the turret as the last breath is available. Is he going to be able to get away? The exhaust goes out onto Dark Creation, and he's just going to back away. He is taking the turret. Podcut is there if he needs it. He's going to body slam and explosive cask. A great flash there by Dark Creation, but that cask should be enough damage as he's trying to wait it out. Weeblet in kind of a rough spot. I don't think Bosgood has any vision of him, so he should be able to back away. But in the end, a 4 for 4. But I got to say that was definitely in the favor of Fellowship of the Nerds being dove on and still going equal there.
Yeah, it was a fantastic dive there, but they did also lose the Rift Herald buff there that they had, worked so hard to secure. So really getting that objective not really translating into much, where the first dragon, that's pretty huge in terms of scaling this team up and trying to match the scaling that this Ezreal is going to have into the later parts of the game. But yeah, pretty unsuccessful dive there from Argon 53, just having the Elise take so much the aggro instead of Weeblet there with the Unbreakable is just, a little bit of miscommunication, not having the timings completely right on that one. I definitely like what they were trying to do with their moves, get that early objective there, use their team fighting prowess exactly how it should have been. But Harblow trying to just farm up here, and he's going to do that absolutely the way he's meant to be as Vlad. Just heal up, never take damage.
And it looks like we're going to see the Nautilus build go with the banner and probably into ZZ Rod after that. You see that when he's against AP top, usually it gives you so much MR, but then it also helps you push back against that lane. If you put a banner minion in your own wave plus a ZZ Rod portal, you just have so much pressure in your own lane. We do see him go when he lands the hook, but he's got to stop. That's definitely not a favorable trade, especially once you have Will of the Ancients. You're going to be able to heal yourself so much. But that's the thing I know we kind of talked about last season a lot, is if you don't have a lot of AP, it's almost not worth upgrading the Will of the Ancients so quickly, because it goes off the amount of AP you have, and the revolver is actually just percent damage done.
Yeah.
So it's a little better for you that way to keep it, but he does upgrade it right away. He's well far ahead in that lane, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal, but the rest of the lane is actually really turning around. This bot lane keeping up quite well now.
Yeah, and exactly like you were saying there, Nubinator always tossing out those hooks. It's never going to be a good trade for him because Vlad's just going to be able to heal up off any damage. But going with that banner of command is going to be absolutely huge, because then Vlad literally has to just let his own minions tank that minion for him. He has to just wait that out.
We see them going to Baby Chalk here, though, as the culling is used. Chalk's trying to defend his pink. It's not going to work out in his favor, though. They're going to keep going as the... Gonna try and use the concussive bullets. Actually, the Glacial Fissure does go out as well as the exhaust. They're gonna go onto Caboose. The exhaust goes onto Baby Shark as well as Jay Frazier shows up. He's gonna use the Arcane Barrage, but not gonna hit anyone as the Unbreakable Will is used. Wild Growth gonna deter that headbutt palm combo, but the last breath is used onto Jay Frazier as Dark Creation is down there, and he's just going to keep dashing through all the minions. Should be able to E onto Baby Trog, but going to back off as they make their way towards the turret, so bit of a counter gank there working out for Argon 53.
Yeah, it was great that the Yasuo was finally able to follow down Jay Frazier, not just kind of push the lane out there, and it really turned around for them there. Weeblet recognizing the opportunity there, getting a great pulverize onto Jay Frazier, knocking him up. Yasuo able to pick that one up, really excelling this Yasuo's game to 4-1-1. It's definitely a champion you want to hit that late game as early as possible, already having the Shiv and the BF sword.
A lot of damage going on to Harablo here. He has to be very careful as he does have that ulti still available on Numinator, and it looks like actually that Cannon Barrage Minion is doing a ton, but he still gets it off cooldown as he's going to try and do so much damage, and he will take down Harablo, so that's very good for Numinator now that he has that banner minion. There's really not much that he's going to be able to do, and meanwhile Toast picking up that mid turret, going to repel off to the Raptors and should be able to get away here. He's going to use the cocoon to stun, and he might be able to swing top, and Numinator should be able to get that turret with that banner minion, turning out to do a ton of work there.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a good sign for Nubinator that he's able to really take on this Vlad now. But Vlad did just go back and pick up a needlessly large rod, so that is going to be a huge amount of AP that is going to be going back onto him. Something to note about this Yasuo's build, though, is that he is opting to go right into the Infinity Edge, but he didn't pick up the Agility Cloak first. Usually, as a Yasuo, you want to get that Agility Cloak before you'd pick up the pickaxe, just because then it's going to get you that 100% crit early on, versus, you know, delaying that 100% crit, sitting on just the Shiv. Even if you go for like a Bloodthirster second item, you still want to pick up the Agility Cloak.
That way you're still hitting that 100% without actually completing the item.
Exactly. So yeah, a little bit of a critique there about the build. Still a big fan of the Shiv and the Infinity Edge, even though there are a lot of, you know, off builds for Yasuo at the moment. That's still probably the most optimal one for in the mid lane there. And he's excelling at a great pace here. But we are going to see the Lulu going from Morella Nomicon there first. And then rounding that out with Lucidity Boots, trying to get that wild growth available as much as possible and getting her CDR to max out very, very quickly.
And that's the thing is, I think this build, like you were saying, there is a lot of different ways. I know we were talking, you and me were talking the other day about going with the Triforce Phantom Dancer in the top lane, but with the Nautilus, sorry, they should be having enough split push pressure. They're really going to just need him to output the damage. And I'd probably say that the Shiv Infinity Edge probably one of the highest outputting damage.
It is, yeah, because
the first
getting that 250% on your crits there as Yasuo is just extremely huge. It depends on what you want to do with the Yasuo, but for the most part, that's it. Just your damage output is going to be completely maximized.
Blue Shot Barrage is going to go out there trying to deter A53 as they started the Dragon, but they land the Dredge line onto Shotgun as the ulti goes out onto up to 4 members here, and they're going to be able to reinitiate this fight. Going to turn it around quite well. Jay Frazier getting quite low. Wild Growth has been used. Shotgun going to go down there. Harablo going to try and kite this one out. It's a double kill though for Toast as they're going to keep chasing down Harablo. Jay Frazier is going to get away. They are going to land the Cocoon. Should be able to put down a ton of damage and take him out quite cleanly here, and that will be 4 kills for the side of Argon 53 with a great reinitiation there. Just so much CC locking down the right targets at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough call for Fellowship of the Nerds when they kind of have those objectives there. I mean, they did have the position on it initially, but then once Weeblet popped the ult and just dove into the team there and got that huge knockup, that's the point where it kind of turns around there. And the Wild Growth going on to Harblow, trying to keep them alive as much as possible, maximize their damage output. As this Ezreal still hasn't kind of excelled quite yet. I mean, he's still sitting on the Mirror Mana, and he hasn't quite finished the Iceborne. So, tough position for them there. They're not quite at the point where they want to pick fights, so they might have potentially wanted to like concede that objective there, maybe just focus on pushing out some more side lane stuff like that. I don't really think they can take a fight right now is the thing. Baby Trog going top lane, trying to push out this banner of command minion while they're sending Harblow to the bot side now. And it looks like Nubinator will actually base and try and match that lane swap that they're throwing out there for Harblow. Try and really push him around a little bit there. Raptor Cloak finished up for Nubinator as well. So like you said, they are going to be going with that the ZZ Rock portal there, and we're gonna see Rift Herald actually picked up here on the side.
Almost actually steals it there.
16 health.
So close. So close.
So close.
Yes.
But that's definitely going to help. Going on to the Yasuo there, grants him a lot of pushing power, which he's going to need against this Lulu, and they're going to just use that push up mid lane, really open up the map for themselves and force their own agenda, which is going to be great for this team. And I don't really think that they can contest this tower here, actually, with the
They may be very careful as Numinator is going to just run straight at them. Like you were saying, explosive cast going in, trying to deter this push, but they're going to be able to get the turret with that Rift Herald buff. Got that nice cannon wave there, doing a ton of damage from afar. It looks like Crablo going to keep going. He's going to be forced to TP in and might look for an engage here. They have that Glacial Fissure available, but they're not going to use it. Just going to back off. So grabbing the turret at least. So getting a bit of that split push worth, but trading a tier 2 for a tier 1 bot lane, maybe not the best trade.
No, definitely not, because it's going to open up so much more of the map for Argon 53 there. Just having that ability to have Numinator rotate freely, you know, from the top side to the mid, and kind of go up and down there, especially when Baron is up in a couple seconds here. So that's going to grant them a lot more pressure in that Baron area, which is exactly what they need, especially now that Numinator is going to be going back soon and finishing up that ZZ Rot. They're going to constantly be pushing in that top side of the map, granting them that entire area there that they're going to want to take control of. Next thing that they need to focus on is this vision, because right now I don't see too much for Argon 53, which they're going to definitely want to pick up if they're going to want to, you know, cleanly take some objectives rather than doing some huge trades, which could happen later now that this Ezreal has his Iceborne Gauntlet.
Should be able to kite out a bit more, but the kind of concerning thing is this Vlad is kind of like plateaued for a little bit. We haven't really seen, he's not going to be able to pick up that many items. He's going to get the Rylai's it looks like he's building into, does finally just complete that. So they have a lot of potential to kite this out, but there's so much damage and so much engage coming out from the side of Argon 53. We were talking earlier, they have a ton of disengage from the Braum, or the Braum ulti, the Gragas ulti, the Wild Growth even. You can Glitter Lance, you can kite with Iceborne Gauntlet, but it just somehow A53 keeps finding their way to engage. And they need to find a way to just kind of stall the game, farm back up, get those items, and then push back. Because right now, Argon 53, they've got the Yasuo, he's got the 2 crucial items for his build, like you said. Going to be doing those 250% crits. So they've got to find a way to just kind of stall the game. With that TP down, they don't quite have the global advantage. Vlad cannot lane against that Nautilus anymore. He's got so much MR, it's going to be very hard for him, but he's going to be able to push harder with that banner minion as well as the Zero Portal. As we see the re-engage, here we go, Weebly goes in after the Cocoon has landed a 4-man last breath. The Glacial Fissure goes to try and deter this push here, and they're going to have to back off, but a lot used on the side of Fellowship of the Nerds, so they should be able to keep pushing and just swing down to this bot turret and take it for free.
Yeah, sending Numinator down there very, very preemptively with the banner in command, with the ZZ Rod. He's got so much pushing power on his side. He can kind of do whatever he wants in that side of the map now. Well, on the opposite side, Harblow.
You see the depth charge go out as well as the Dredge line. They are going to re-engage here. Shotgun going to try and absorb as much damage as he can with that Unbreakable. But they're just going to be deterred once again, and they should be able to actually pick up this inhibitor turret. And be careful, Jake Frazier doing a ton of damage, and Rablo finally going B, but is it going to be fast enough? As Bosgood re-engages going for Toes, not going to get quite as much damage as he wanted. Numinator just the whole time just focusing on that turret, does take it down, and he lives and gets away for free. So once again, well played by Argon 53, getting these objectives for free and not losing anything but a couple of summoner spells for it.
Yeah, Harblow, he wasn't even to trade that second tier turret in the top side of the map either. He was only able to get that first one. So not really picking up too much in response there, not doing too much work. Great E there from Deck Creation as he's gonna maybe try and fight Baby Chalk here, but he's caught between a rock
spot as he does get body slammed and put in there. But yeah, like you were saying, good attempt to get escape, but not gonna be able to make it out.
Yeah, kind of got caught out there. It was cool moves, though. I mean, that's some great Yasuo mechanics we're seeing there, using the E over the wall into the jungle creeps there.
Sick move, bruh.
Yeah, sick waves.
Oh, it's totally rad, dude.
But now, as they have picked up that those bot turrets there, they're going to be sending Numinator topside. They're going to be able to get even more pressure on that side of the map and just completely shut down Harblow and his split push attempts there. He can't do really anything against this Nautilus, so he's being forced wherever Nautilus is not, and at this point he does have a lot of options to go to, as everything is kind of pushed not in their favor. So going on this top side of the map now, pushing this even farther in, that's going to grant the Baron control that they're going to want. They have a pink ward on it. No one has any vision on that side of the map whatsoever besides that pink ward. So I think somebody needs to really focus that. Weeblet being the only one that has the Sight Stone, but we still see 2 yellow trinkets on the side of the Argon 53. I would like to see those traded to either the red trinket for the jungler and the blue trinket for the top laner, or just 2 blue trinkets. They have to try and focus on that vision, and that's going to be able to maximize that, especially since there's only 1 red trinket on the side of the Fellowship of the Nerds, and that right now is on the support, which is never going to be really on that side of the map, I don't think.
And that's the thing, is like you were saying, Argon 53 is stacking dragons. This should be their third one if they're going to be able to take it. I don't think at this point they can 5v5 properly. There's just so much damage on the side of A53 that the Village of the Nerds kind of on their back heel. Same time, they're just going to keep throwing that Nautilus wherever the team isn't. Split the pressure. They can't force the Ravlo there, and they are going to pick up their third dragon for free. Our True Shot Barrage going through, almost picking it off there, but Numinator going to be stuck out a little bit, and they're just going to swing bottom. But yeah, like you were saying, it's so important to get vision when you lose those tier 2 turrets, because now essentially the jungle is the enemy teams.
Yeah.
And if you only have that one sweeper, there are some pink wards on the side. We do see Baby Trog as well as Jay Frazier picking up some pink wards because they need to clear that out. They want to be able to make moves safely. But Jay Frazier getting hit by the Dreadsign. Esports to use the Wild Growth, but it shouldn't be enough to keep him alive as the depth charge goes through as well. Trying to proc the stun as the Vlad ulti does go out as well as the Glacial Fisher onto Day Creation. Can they put down a little more damage for that Vlad ulti to pop as Caboose takes him down. A lot of low health bars on A53, but are they going to be able to finish his last breath goes through as Weavelet knocks them up, and Bosca going to be in a lot of trouble here as the rest of the team goes in for that, and they will be able to pick up. This actually might be the game as there's about 30 seconds on a majority of the team, and with everyone still alive on A53, Toast very scary low, but they should have enough damage to take this down. That wind wall goes out blocking it, and that would be a very quick win for Argon 53 as they're starting to flash the Masteries on the Mastery Kings. And that is going to be the game there. That's game 1 going over to A53. Well played, well executed there. Just went in with a game plan and just seemed to go get ahead very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. It seemed like Argon 53 structured their comp and they executed exactly how they wanted to. Besides that botched dive in the bot lane there, I feel like that went exactly how they initially planned it would. Picking the Yasuo, not unintentional, paired with so much initiation, we see that really kind of come to fruition there in that last team fight there. We've been flashing over the wall, getting the 3-man knockup, instant double kill there for him, finishing 6-3-6 on his premier game into the league here. Not too shabby for himself there, kind of, you know, showing off a little bit, but Weeblet also 0-0-12. Great game for himself.
Beast mode.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very strong game. But, I mean, we can't discredit Fellowship of the Nerds too much there. Jay Frazier definitely taking the initiative on all those roams, really trying to do what he could for that bot side of the map. He was able to kind of shut them down early on, try and give a little bit of freedom to Baby Trog there, and came down again. Didn't really pan out too much there as, you know, the Yasuo followed him down there. But still, really taking the initiative there, which was great. I would like to see that coming into like the rest of their games, just because they did make plays on both sides of the map there. Because when Bosgood's top side, you definitely see that jungler and you think, okay, I got a little bit of room to breathe now. I can kind of, you know, play a little bit more aggro. But you don't expect the mid lane to always come down like that. So, yeah.
Well, the laning phase went really well for both teams. I mean, it looked like Rablo got ahead quite early, and then with a gank, they put him ahead. And even though Baby Trog and Child's weren't winning, they were farming quite well. And then once they had their roam down, they got ahead. So I feel like it was that dragon fight. That was kind of the separation part of the game.
Yeah, that's what swung it. Yeah.
And it was really unfortunate. It was just, I feel like they were lacking a lot of early game damage from all of their characters, all their champions, and the Lulu not able to take the matchup into that Yasuo. Like you said, Dark Creation did such a good job in that lane. He should not be coming out ahead.
Yasuo, because he has a very weak early game there, depending on how you play it. I mean, he can be pretty aggro and, you know, trade very, very well. But into something like a Lulu that's got the range, it's got the harass, it's got the lane pushing ability, you should be having a rough time. But he played it very, very well. They burned the ultimates exactly when they needed to. I mean, forcing that wild growth there at prime time for them to rotate down to drag, that's exactly how it needed to be played out there. And they did it extremely well. Getting, you know, using the wild growth right before they need to push a turret or push a like Rift Herald, something like that. They, you know, timed that very well, realizing that that is integral to Fellowship of the Nerds' entire team comp there. The Lulu completely being shut down in terms of team fight, that was huge.
And yeah, it's just really unfortunate they weren't able to capitalize on that. They swapped the dragon for the Baron or the Herald.
Yeah.
Gosh, I always call it Baron. And they went
Baby
top.
Baron.
Even though they swung those kills, they lost that objective. And like you said early on, stack that dragon. You got the one dragon. Rift Herald. Once it's gone, it's gone. So you kind of put it to a use.
Yeah, exactly. And something else that I would like to see change there is that Vlad pick. I mean, it is a great pick if they are itemizing for that armor. but they can exactly counter it in just the items. It's a champion that is, even though it does have great matchups, in theory, it has items that completely shut it down. When you see the ZZ Rot, when you see the Banner of Command, now all of a sudden you can't even, touch Nautilus. It doesn't even do any damage. So even though, if yes, they are building the Thornmail, if they're building the Randuins, if they're building the Sunfire Cape, sure, absolutely, go crazy on Vlad. But when there's these items that are so strong in the meta right now, when everyone's building a ZZ Rot, when Banner of Command is not a bad troll item to build, it's going to shut you down.
Yeah. I mean, we are going to take a quick break before Game 2 kicks in. Hopefully some stuff changes. So, guys, we'll take a short break, but we will be back with Game 2 between Fellowship of the Nerds and Argon 53. Don't go anywhere.